Hi there, Butchie. This is Emma from Emma's Bookish Lifestyle, and today is a bit of a chat. This is about Kindle or e-readers, Nooks, whatever you happen to use as your purchase of choice for reading ebooks. But I recently turned on my e-reader and realised exactly how many books I'd got going on in here. And one of the reasons why I think they fill up is recommendation. One of them is NetGalley, which I absolutely adore. But I seem to get the free recommendations of the ones that I want. It's just getting around to reading them. And then there's sort of audiobooks that I keep on there that come down to my Kindle, because I've got a Kindle Fire. So I just kind of wanted to have a chat with you and see how you go about maintaining it, because what I've realised is I do buy books, hard copy books. I love them, I haul them, I read them. I do read on my Kindle. In fact, I'm currently reading and have been reading for some time on my Kindle Changeless by Gail Carriger. Which I'm now 48% of the way through, and I am enjoying it, and it is something that I will continue on with. I did get distracted with a book slump, and I did get distracted by a few other hard copy books that I received through the post, Darien by C.F. Iggulden being one of them. And I've read series and pre-ordered books that have come down through that I then forget that I've ordered. So for example, Jeff Wheeler's The Hollow Crown, which is part of the King Fountain series, which I started reading last year, and that's the third book in that trilogy. Again, you get the Kindle, same as you do with the purchasing of books, you get the Kindle deals. So I've recently purchased Station 11 by Hilary Mandel. Oh, sorry, it switched the other way. I also recently, because I am a Kindle or an Amazon Prime member, was able to get The Naturalist as part of my Amazon First, Kindle First deals. And yeah, so I'm accumulating. That's an audiobook, The Bedlam Stacks, which I saw Mel from Mel's Bookland Adventures mention the other day. Good thing I didn't buy it, because I got it on the audiobook. And yeah, so I've got an assortment of various little things, all the little children. I believe this was, because I'm also on a Android phone, I won't mention the brand, but because I'm on the Android phone and I have the Kindle app, I also get a free book through them every month, which I get to choose. They don't give you a large selection, they only give you 4. Amazon, I noticed through the Kindle, this month, I think it was, they gave you the option of 6 different genres. So that was quite interesting. Obviously, I've got things like Neil Gaiman's Norse Mythology, which again I've downloaded as an audiobook. The Mermaid and Mrs. Hancock, which I got from NetGalley. Midnight at the Bright Ideas Bookshop, again NetGalley. When God Was a Rabbit by Sarah Winman, which I'm currently listening to as an audiobook. So there's lots and lots of books accumulating on here for various reasons, whether it be that my it's part of my monthly deals, or I got it as a 99p special deal, or you know, for whatever reason, I'm accumulating Kindle books at a rate of knots and audiobooks. And I just wanted to know how you go about it. Do you allot yourself a period of time, or do you give yourself a month where you say, right, this is my Kindle month, then you only read the books that are on your Kindle? How do you deal with it? How do you approach the number of books that you have on your Kindle at any one time? I'd really love to know. I've got some great books on there, you know, A Place Called Winter by Patrick Gale, you know, the Roanoke Girls. I've got S.J. Parry's Heresy, books that have been mentioned on here, Jessie Burton's The Miniaturist, The Muse, Michael R. Miller's series, The Dragon's Blade. I've got the sequel to that, although I'm holding off on that because I really enjoyed the first one, so I don't want to read that one until I know the third one's coming out. So yeah, I mean, there's absolutely a world of books available that are quite cheap. How do you control it? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set myself a loose TBR. Now, I never ever set myself a TBR. Part of the reason for that being that TBRs restrict me, they stunt my flow, and sometimes when I'm looking at my books on my bookshelf, even though I've pulled out X, Y or Z to read it, and a prime example being Angela Carter's book of fairy tales, some days you're just not in the mood to read that kind of book. And I'm loving this book, and it's a great book, and I'm enjoying it, and I will go back to it, and they are short stories, so it is perfect for a pick up, put down book. But it's not where I am in my mental space at the moment, and because I was in a bit of a book slump, it wasn't helping to kick me out of it. Now I'm out of it, I probably will go back to it. The same with Changeless. You know, I had it on my Kindle, I'm halfway through, I was really enjoying it, thoroughly enjoying it, but the book slump hit and I needed to focus on reading that was going to get me out of that slump and get me back to the love of reading and the enjoyment of the books that I had available to me. So what do you do? I'd really love to know what you do. Do you fix yourself a TBR with books or with your electronic devices? Do you tend to only use your electronic devices when you're out and about? I don't have a long commute anymore. I do have a small commute, which means I can listen to audiobook, which I do tend to do through my Bluetooth on my car, but I only have a 20-minute journey, so it does take a while for me to work my way through an audiobook, especially if it's 10 plus hours and I'm only commuting 20 minutes each way. And sometimes, especially first thing in the morning, I don't do it because my brain is just not fully awake or active enough to want to listen to an audiobook and be able to absorb it. So yeah, I'd really like to know what you think. I'm going to set myself a loose challenge, and that is that from October, so we're just over a week away, I'm going to complete Changeless and move on and try and at least read one Kindle book a month, at least. I'm going to say one initially and see if I can build it up. Reason being is I'm really enjoying the pleasure of actually just sort of holding a legitimate book at the moment, and also I'm very much into supporting my library, so I am getting books from my library, and I've got a plethora of books on my shelf which are still unread and waiting to be read, and I'm getting, very luckily, books from publishers to read and experience. So I don't want to completely cut myself off from things that are coming in through the post that I go, oh, I really want to read that. But I do want to start knocking down some of the Kindle books that I've been putting on there. Everybody, I think, went through a phase, or there was a large group of people that went through the phase of a Kindle. Part of the reason why I got a Kindle is the property that I live in is quite small, and I don't have a large storage area. So some of the books that I was buying on my Kindle were the books that I thought I would want to read and reread, and that way I could store them on the cloud, up in the sky, the wonderful cloud, and it not take up as much space. One downside I'm realising to that is the more I have on my Kindle, the less aware of what I have on my Kindle I am. So part of my task for myself as well in October is I want to move as many of my books that I have on my Kindle into my Goodreads to be read under Kindle unread, so that I'm fully aware of what I have on my Kindle at any given time, so that if I go in and see a video on YouTube that mentions a book that I think, oh, I really fancy that, and I go in and add it to my book Goodreads, if it comes up and it's already on my Kindle because I've got it in a good deal and I fancied it, then at least I am aware that I have it as well, and that will hopefully prevent any duplication purchases that may occur. To be honest, touch wood, I've had no duplicate purchases this year, but you never know, do you? And I'm always looking at things and adding things to my Amazon TBR and my Amazon wish list, and I don't want duplications to become an issue when there are so many wonderful books out there that I want to read. Anyway, this video has gone on way longer than I was anticipating it was going to, but I'd really love to know your thoughts and your processes, and whether you do actually have a TBR, whether you do have a means of continuing to read and check and manage your Kindles. How do you do it? Do you just download one book at a time so that your carousel isn't ridiculously full of books that you can't decide what to choose? Do you have all your books on the carousel so you know exactly where you are at any given time? Please let me know. Let's have a chat in the comments down below. I'd really like to know an approach to deal with this. I do think I've got over 150 plus books on my Kindle, and what with the rest of them on my shelves, I really need to start slamming some of them. And yeah, so any tips or advice I'd really appreciate. Anyway, thanks for now, BookTube, for sticking with this chatty video, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.